The day my vision returned, I sat alone in my kitchen and cried for 20 minutes. It wasn't only because I was happy. It was because I suddenly understood I had a difficult choice to make. 8 weeks earlier, I had suffered a small stroke that affected my vision. I woke up one morning and the left side of my sight was blurred and almost gone. I could no longer drive safely, read normally, or do simple tasks around the house. I was 67 years old and had recently retired after working as a civil engineer for the county for 31 years. My wife Norma had passed away 4 years earlier from cancer. We had been married for 41 years, and I was still living alone in the house where we raised our children. My son Patrick lived in Denver with his wife and daughters. He called me often and offered to come help, but I told him I could manage. My daughter Kim lived only 20 minutes away. She helped me with doctor visits, filled my freezer with meals, and took care of many things around the house. I was thankful for her kindness, but there was something I did not know. When Kim and her husband Spencer thought I couldn't see well, they spoke and acted differently. During one appointment, my doctor told me there was a chance my vision could recover. He didn't promise anything, but he told me not to lose hope. 6 weeks later, my eyesight had almost completely returned. I could read, drive, and see clearly again. Before telling anyone, I remembered something I had noticed earlier. Spencer had been in my kitchen making a phone call while he thought I couldn't see him clearly. I watched him point around my house and make gestures that made me believe he was discussing the value of my property. I didn't know exactly what was happening, but my instincts told me something wasn't right. So I kept my recovery a secret for a little while. I continued acting as if my vision was still poor and paid attention. Soon, Kim sat down with me and suggested that I move into an independent living community. She said the house was too much work for me and selling it would give me financial comfort. I asked if Patrick knew about this. She said she had spoken to him. Later, I called Patrick. He admitted Kim had mentioned selling the house, but he never wanted her to pressure me. He was simply worried about my health. That conversation made me realize I needed to protect myself. Over the next few weeks, I contacted my attorney Barbara and my financial advisor Ted. I updated my will, placed the house into a living trust, created a strong legal plan, and made sure my future decisions would remain in my control. I was not trying to punish Kim. I still loved her. I was simply protecting myself. A few weeks later, Kim and Spencer came over with brochures for retirement communities. They talked about how much money the house could bring if it was sold. Then I finally spoke clearly. How long have you been planning this? I asked. Both of them were shocked because they realized my vision had returned. I told them I had been able to see for 6 weeks. I asked Spencer to leave the room so I could speak with my daughter alone. I explained everything I had done, the trust, the legal documents, and the protections I had put in place. Kim broke down crying. She admitted that Spencer had been pushing the idea. I told her I understood his influence, but she still had to accept her part in what happened. I wasn't going to tell her to leave her husband, but I needed her to understand that I knew the truth. That night, Spencer left without saying another word. Kim stayed behind, and for the first time in months, we had an honest conversation. She told me things about her marriage that I never knew. I listened without judging. The next week, I called Patrick and told him my vision had returned. He laughed with relief and admitted he was glad I had protected myself. We talked for a long time about his family and future plans. Today, I still live in my house in Lakewood. The roof is still strong, the furnace works well, and every morning I watch the birds outside my kitchen window. My relationship with Kim is different now. It may never return to how it once was, but we are rebuilding it with honesty. She visits me without Spencer, and we share coffee and conversations without pretending. Losing my vision taught me to listen more carefully. Getting it back taught me to see people more clearly. I learned that love and trust are not the same thing. Trust must be protected and earned. I do not hate Kim. I believe she made mistakes and allowed herself to be influenced by money and her husband. She cried because she understood how far things had gone. I also learned something about myself. If I had confronted them immediately, I would have been angry but unprepared. Instead, I stayed patient, gathered the facts, and protected my future. After decades as an engineer, I knew one important lesson. You never change a structure until you understand what is holding it together. My eyesight returned. But more importantly, my understanding became clearer. I am still in my home, living on my own terms. I know what my life is worth. I know what my home means to me, and I know exactly who I want to leave it to. That is enough.